The Montgomery estate smells like pine and cinnamon. But it might as well be formaldehyde. I stand in the center of the living room, my fingers gripping a cream-colored gift box wrapped in silk ribbon. And I can't stop staring at what's inside. A lifetime VIP membership to Last Chance Love. An app explicitly marketed to desperate singles over 30. According to the TikTok reviews Bella mentioned, it's hailed as a savior for those who've given up on traditional dating, with users raving about its algorithm that matches based on realistic expectations, rather than fairy tales. One viral video I recall from my late-night scrolls showed a woman in her mid-30s praising it for connecting her with mature partners who aren't playing games. But the comments were flooded with sarcasm about how it feels like a last resort for the expired crowd. And beneath the card, a hardcover book with raised gold lettering, How to Find Happiness When You Die Alone. It's a twisted play on self-help classics like Lane Moore's How to Be Alone, if you want to, and even if you don't, which Goodreads reviews describe as an empowering memoir about embracing solitude after family rejection. But this version seems custom cruel, mocking the idea of independence as a consolation prize. The fire roars in the marble fireplace behind me. Outside the French windows, snow falls in thick, silent sheets, blanketing the manicured grounds. But inside this room, the cold has nothing to do with the December weather. Bella giggles. The sound is high and sharp, echoing off the vaulted ceiling like breaking glass. I saw it on TikTok. My sister says, her voice dripping with false sweetness. The reviews were amazing. 5 stars for women who've given up on traditional dating. She flips her phone screen toward me briefly, showing a montage of influencers in their 30s lip-syncing to upbeat music while swiping on apps like Bumble and Hinge. Which, from what I've read on Reddit threads like dating over 30, are supposedly better for serious connections. Users there complain Tinder is a barren wasteland for anyone over 30. But Last Chance Love? It's niche, targeted at those society deems past their prime, with features like second chance profiles that highlight life experiences over looks. I don't look up. I keep staring at that horrible pink app card, at the cartoon illustration of a wilting flower that's supposed to represent women like me. Women who've supposedly expired. Take it, dear. My mother's voice cuts through the room. Trinity Montgomery sits perched on the ivory satin sofa, her posture so rigid she could be carved from the same marble as the fireplace. Bella's just worried about your future. Don't let your ego turn you into a spinster forever. My father says nothing. Richard Montgomery stands near the bar cart, swirling bourbon in a crystal tumbler, studying the amber liquid like it holds answers he's not interested in sharing with me. His business partner, Harrison Sterling, shifts uncomfortably in the leather armchair beside him. Preston Sterling, Bella's fiancé, examines his phone with sudden intense focus. I close the box slowly. My hands don't shake, though. Something inside my chest feels like it's cracking open. 8 months. It's been 8 months since I sent those invitations. Since I spent 3 evenings at my dining table in Austin, selecting the perfect cardstock, tying velvet ribbons by hand. 300-gram weight. The kind that whispers quality when you hold it. Nate had watched me from the doorway. His arms crossed. His expression careful. Are you sure you don't need to call them? He'd asked. I'd smoothed another ribbon, my fingers working the silk into a perfect bow. They're my parents. They wouldn't miss this. The memory sits in my throat like a stone. I delayed the ceremony for 30 minutes, staring at those 2 empty chairs in the front row. Reserved for Dad. Reserved for Mom. The signs I'd painted myself on small wooden plaques decorated with wildflowers because my mother had once mentioned she liked daisies. That was 7 years ago. But I remember everything they forgot. In the quiet of that moment, as the snow outside muffles the world, I can't help but think about the family dynamics I've read about in psychology articles. Narcissistic families where one child is the golden child, showered with praise and protection, while the other becomes the scapegoat, blamed for every flaw to maintain the illusion of perfection. Bella has always been the golden one, her achievements amplified, her mistakes erased. Me? I've been the scapegoat since childhood. My successes downplayed. My presence a reminder of imperfection. Experts like those on Psychology Today describe how this dynamic creates deep emotional scars, with the scapegoat often developing resilience through constant adversity, while the golden child struggles with authenticity. It's textbook, really, and tonight, it's playing out in high definition. Well? Bella leans forward on the sofa, her blonde hair cascading over one shoulder in a calculated tumble. Her engagement ring catches the firelight, a 3-carat diamond that cost more than my entire wedding. Aren't you going to say thank you? The words stick in my throat. Part of me wants to scream. Part of me wants to run out those massive oak doors like I've done so many times before. Drive back to the airport. Fly home to Austin where Nate is probably heating up leftover Thai food and wondering if I'm okay. But I'm so tired of running. Harrison Sterling clears his throat. Perhaps we should move on to dinner, he suggests, his voice carefully neutral. I believe the caterers have everything ready in the dining room. Bella's smirk widens. She knows she's won this round. She always does. Except this time, something inside me doesn't break. It snaps. Not my heart, which has been breaking in this house since I was old enough to understand that some children are treasured and others are tolerated. No, what snaps is something harder. The chains have been dragging around for 29 years. The ones labeled, good daughter, and, second best, and, maybe if you try harder. I look up, my eyes meet Bella's, and I watch her triumphant expression falter just slightly. There's something in my face she doesn't recognize. Something cold and clean and final. Thank you, Bella, I say. My voice comes out smooth. Almost pleasant. I'll keep this very carefully. I tuck the box under my arm, holding it against my ribs like evidence. Because that's exactly what it is. Trinity frowns. Caroline, don't be dramatic. It's just a thoughtful gift. Oh, I know. I smile. The expression feels strange on my face. Like I'm wearing someone else's mouth. It's very thoughtful. Very valuable. Richard finally looks at me, his gray eyebrows drawing together. Caroline, it's a warning. The same tone he used when I was 16 and suggested that maybe, just maybe, Bella shouldn't get a BMW for her first car when I'd received a 10-year-old Honda. The tone that means, don't make a scene, don't embarrass us, don't exist too loudly in spaces meant for your sister to shine. I hold his gaze. Yes, Dad. He opens his mouth, closes it, turns back to his bourbon. Preston Sterling stands abruptly, shoving his phone into his jacket pocket. I need some air, he mutters, and walks toward the French doors leading to the terrace. Bella's smile finally cracks. Preston, it's freezing out there. Preston hesitates at the terrace doors, the cold air blowing in, before turning back with a resigned sigh to join the procession to the dining room. But he's already gone, and I understand something in that moment. He's uncomfortable. He should be. Any decent person would be. Shall we? Harrison gestures toward the dining room, his discomfort palpable in the tight set of his shoulders. The dining room chandelier throws diamond patterns across the white linen tablecloth. Trinity taps her spoon against her crystal water glass, the sound cutting through the murmur of polite conversation like a blade. Before we begin, my mother announces, her voice pitched for an audience. I want to toast this very special season, the year of the bride. I watch Bella straighten in her chair, her practiced smile blooming across her face like she's been waiting for this cue her entire life. My youngest daughter, Trinity continues, gesturing toward Bella with her wine glass, will be married this February in what I can only describe as a modern royal event. 300 guests. The ballroom at the Four Seasons. A dress that took 6 months to design. Preston shifts beside Bella, his jaw tight. Harrison Sterling studies his salad fork with the intensity of an archaeologist examining an artifact. Bella has always known how to do things properly, Trinity says, and the word, properly, lands on my skin like a slap. With grace, with consideration for family. My father lifts his bourbon in agreement. He hasn't looked at me since we sat down. I cut into my filet mignon. The knife slides through the meat with barely any resistance. But my hand feels welded to the handle. Trinity sets down her glass with a delicate click. Her gaze swings toward me, and I recognize the glint in her eyes. She's about to perform. Bella is settled. she says, her tone dripping with manufactured concern. But what about you, Caroline? You're approaching 30. You can't plan to live with plants forever. Can you? The table goes quiet. Even the catering staff refilling water glasses near the sideboard seem to freeze mid-pour. When is it your turn? Trinity asks. The question hangs in the air like smoke. I feel Preston's eyes flick toward me. Then away. Harrison clears his throat, but says nothing. Bella leans forward slightly, her expression arranged into something that might pass for sisterly interest if you didn't know her. But I do know her. I see the anticipation in the way her fingers curl around her wine stem. She's waiting for me to crumble, to stammer, to make some excuse about focusing on my career or not having met the right person yet. Drawing from those online forums on dysfunctional families, I recognize this as classic scapegoating, projecting all the family's flaws onto me to keep Bella's golden image untarnished. It's exhausting, but tonight, it's fuel. I set down my silverware. The clink of metal on porcelain sounds louder than it should. I'm not single, Mother. The words come out calm, steady, like I'm commenting on the weather. Trinity blinks. Excuse me? I've been married for 8 months. My mother's face goes through 3 distinct expressions in the span of 2 seconds. Confusion. Disbelief. Rage. Liar. The word explodes from Trinity's mouth like a gunshot. Sharp enough to make the crystal tremble. Her manicured hand slams the table. Silverware jumps. Why would no one know about this? You secretly eloped in Vegas. Didn't you? Some cheap little chapel with an Elvis impersonator. Is that it? The contempt drips so thick I can almost taste it. Bella recovers faster than anyone. She's always been quick on her feet when there's a narrative to hijack. Are you making up stories to ruin my engagement party? Her voice cracks perfectly, wounded. Incredulous. Oscar-worthy. You've always been jealous of me, Caroline, but this is pathetic even for you. She turns to Preston, clutching his forearm like a damsel in a silent film. Can you believe this? Preston doesn't answer. He's staring at me, attorney brain running probabilities. His pupils are pinpricks in the candlelight, calculating risk the way other people count heartbeats. I can almost see the gears turning. 8 months. Invitations. No family present? I take a slow sip of water. The ice cubes clink softly. I sent invitations. I say, voice still level, almost bored. FedEx overnight. 4 velvet boxes. Ivory ribbon. You remember ribbon, don't you, Bella? You used to steal mine when we were kids. My father's glass hits the table so hard bourbon sloshes over the rim and stains the white linen like blood. If you sent invitations and didn't get a reply, why didn't you call? The vein in his temple throbs. You did this on purpose, didn't you? To embarrass this family in front of the Sterlings. There it is. The accusation I've waited 8 months to hear spoken aloud. They didn't forget. They didn't lose the invitations. They never intended to come. And now they're rewriting history in real time. Gaslighting me in front of witnesses. While I sit here holding receipts they don't know exist yet. The last thread of hope I didn't even realize I was clutching dissolves like sugar in hot tea. Under the table, hidden by the long tablecloth, I slide my phone from my clutch. My thumb finds the thread with Nate. 1 word. Now. Delivered. Read. I set the fork down. Spear a single asparagus stalk. And chew like nothing is happening. The vegetable tastes like cardboard and vindication. Trinity's voice has that dangerous maternal edge now. The one that used to send me sprinting to my childhood bedroom to hide under the covers. Caroline, stop this nonsense and apologize to your sister. For what? I swallow. For getting married? For inviting my family to my wedding? Which part needs an apology? Bella's eyes glitter with unshed tears. She's masterful at producing them on cue. I can't believe you'd lie about something like this. On Christmas Eve. I'm not lying. I tilt my head. Then prove it. My father snaps. I meet his eyes across the expanse of mahogany and crystal. Okay. Harrison Sterling leans forward a fraction. The way powerful men do when they sense blood in the water. Preston has gone statue still. The muscle in his jaw ticking like a bomb. The chandelier catches the light on my left hand, simple platinum band. Discreet. Elegant. I've been wearing it all evening. Not one of them noticed. Dessert will be ready in 15 minutes. One of the caterers murmurs from the doorway. Oblivious. My phone buzzes once against my thigh. Nate. System accessed. Ready when you are. Any two-nightstand preferences? His attempt at gallows humor. I stand. The chair legs scrape like a scream. Actually, I say, smoothing my dress, I think we should skip dessert tonight. There's something everyone needs to see. Caroline, sit down. Trinity hisses. Not tonight. I walk toward the 85-inch smart TV above the fireplace in the adjoining sitting room. The digital Yule log flickers innocently. You always believe Bella unconditionally. I say, conversational, almost gentle, but have you forgotten what my husband does for a living? Silence thick enough to choke on. I turn. Nathaniel Vance, Senior Cybersecurity Analyst. Clients include 3 Fortune 100 companies you'd recognize. Dad, he finds holes in systems for a living. Fixes them, or, when necessary, exploits them. Trinity's mouth opens, closes, opens again. I don't see what that has to do with. I lift my phone so they can all see the screen. 3 glowing letters. Now. Sent 21 minutes ago. Delivered. Read. The TV flickers. The fake fire dies. Black screen for exactly 2 heartbeats. Then a pristine Windows desktop appears, my husband's remote session. 2.000 miles away in our Austin home office. A small white text box in the corner. Remote access activated. Richard surges to his feet. Turn that off. Now. I smile pleasantly. I designed the entire electrical and smart home system for this house. Remember? Fresh out of grad school. You paid me exposure and a family discount. I installed every camera, every sensor, every line of code. Admin password never changed. I emailed you twice recommending you update it. You both replied with thumbs up emojis. Harrison Sterling's eyebrows climb toward his hairline. Preston's lips part, just slightly. This is illegal. Bella tries. Voice cracking. Actually, no. I answer without looking at her. I'm the registered system administrator. Full legal access. Nate is simply assisting me in retrieving my own files. Trinity's chair scrapes backward. Files? What files? The cursor drifts across the screen to a folder labeled in crisp black text. Project Truth. I finally turn to face them fully. When you dismissed my career as playing with plants. Mother, you forgot I'm an architect. Architects don't just draw pretty pictures. We read load-bearing walls. We calculate exactly how much pressure a structure can take before it collapses. My father's face flushes crimson. You had no right to put cameras in our home without. I gave you a 40-page manual. You signed every page. Front door camera, side entrance camera, driveway, all disclosed, all legal, all recording to a professional-grade NVR in the wine cellar. 2-year retention, not some cheap cloud that deletes after 30 days. Bella has gone the color of skim milk. She's doing math in her head. Counting backward from February. You're bluffing, she whispers. I tilt my head. Do you remember February 12th? Bella? Tuesday, 10:15 a.m. You were wearing your cream Loro Piana coat. FedEx driver had a shaved head and a neck tattoo of a koi fish. Stop it, she hisses. The package was blue. Express overnight. 4 velvet boxes. Mom, make her stop. But Trinity is frozen, both hands pressed to her throat as if she can physically hold back what's coming. I nod at the screen. Nate receives the cue. The folder opens. First image. FedEx receipt. High definition. Signature line crystal clear. Isabella Montgomery in her looping. Unmistakable cursive. Date and time stamped. The room detonates. Bella recovers first. Because of course she does. That's my signature. So what? I sign for packages every day. Doesn't prove anything. Trinity latches onto the lifeline like a drowning woman. Exactly. Bella's brand partnerships. Evidence too. I interrupt softly. The screen changes. Trinity's Gmail. Filters tab. At the very top. Red flag icon. Rule name wedding block. Criteria. If subject contains, wedding, and, Caroline, right pointing arrow delete permanently. Skip inbox. Do not archive. Created February 14th, 2 days after the invitations arrived. IP address traces to Bella's iPhone 14 Pro Max. The rose gold one with the cracked corner she hides with a rhinestone case. The silence that follows is the sound of a guillotine falling. Trinity's voice comes out small. That's not possible. I never authorized. Of course you didn't. I say gently. Bella's had your password since she set up your two-factor for you last Christmas. Remember? She told you it was for security. Preston stands so slowly it's almost ceremonial. He's staring at Bella like she's a stranger wearing his fiancé's face. You hacked your own mother's email? I didn't hack anything. Bella's voice climbs an octave. Mom asked me to manage her correspondence. She gets overwhelmed by deleting emails about your sister's wedding invitations. Harrison Sterling finishes. Voice like gravel. Bella pivots. She's terrifyingly good at it. Tears flood her eyes on command. Fine. Yes. I hid them. But I did it to protect Mom and Dad. The tears spill over. Perfect tracks down cheeks that have never known drugstore mascara. Caroline sent those invitations last minute for some shabby vineyard in Texas. Dad's blood pressure. Mom's anxiety about appearances. I was afraid they'd be humiliated. I threw them away because I love this family. It's brilliant. Malicious sabotage reframed as selfless sacrifice in under 10 seconds. I almost applaud. Trinity's face softens. She wants so badly to believe the version where her favorite child is still perfect. Preston, however, is not buying it. His eyes flick to me. Then back to Bella. Disgust crystallizing. I smile the way you smile at a child caught in an obvious lie. Protect them. I repeat softly. That's your story. It's the truth. Then why? I ask. Voice silk over steel. Did you throw the invitations in the recycling bin instead of hiding them somewhere safe? If you were protecting Mom and Dad, you'd have kept them, just in case. But you didn't want them found. Ever. Nate clicks. The video begins. Crystal clear 4K from the front door camera. Timestamp. February 12th. 10:14 a.m. FedEx truck. Driver. Bella answers in yoga pants and a cropped hoodie. Ponytail swinging. She signs. Accepts the blue package. Reads the return label. Caroline and Nate Vance. Her face transforms, smile gone. Something cold and vicious in its place. She glances around. Checks for witnesses. Then strides to the recycling bins and hurls the box in like toxic waste. Doesn't even open it. Just wipes her hands on her leggings and walks away. The video ends. The only sound is the fire popping in the hearth. Preston's voice is terrifyingly quiet. You threw your sister's wedding invitations in the trash, because you didn't want to share the spotlight. Preston. He steps back as if her touch might burn him. Preston's face cycles through emotions faster than the chandelier can throw light. Disbelief. Realization. Revulsion. And finally something colder than the snow outside. He looks at Bella the way a man looks at a house he just discovered is built on a graveyard. You gave her a book about dying alone. He says, voice low, almost wondering. You wrapped it yourself. You laughed when she opened it. And the entire time you knew she was married. You knew. Bella reaches for him, fingers trembling. Preston, baby, listen. He jerks away so violently the wineglasses tremble. Don't touch me. The 3-carat diamond flashes once as he grips her wrist. Not hard enough to bruise. Just enough to stop her. Then, with deliberate calm, he slides the ring off her finger. The metal whispers against her skin like a final goodbye. He places it in the exact center of her plate. Right on top of the untouched creme brulee. Where the sugar crust cracks under the weight. Click. The sound is small, but in that room it might as well be a gavel. We're done, he says. Trinity surges up so fast her chair topples backward. Preston, darling, don't be hasty. Everyone makes mistakes. Mistakes? Preston laughs. And it's a sound I've never heard from him before. Sharp. Humorless. Lethal. Mrs. Montgomery, your daughter committed mail tampering. She sabotaged her sister's wedding. She lied to my face for 8 months while planning a $250,000 circus on my dime. That's not a mistake. That's a character reference. Harrison Sterling rises beside his son. Slow and deliberate, the way powerful men do when they're about to burn a bridge and salt the earth behind them. He doesn't raise his voice. He doesn't need to. Richard, he says, and my father flinches as if slapped. 40 years I've known you. I've always believed a man who cannot control his household has no business sitting across a boardroom from me. His gaze flicks to Trinity. Then to Bella. Then back to my father. Your youngest daughter is deceitful. Your wife enables her. And you, Richard, you are willfully blind. The merger we were set to sign next month, $50 million in contracts. The crown jewel of your legacy. Consider it dead. My father's bourbon glass slips from his fingers and shatters on the hardwood. Amber liquid spreads like a crime scene. Harrison, please, he rasps, standing so quickly he sways. We can discuss this privately. There's nothing to discuss. Harrison buttons his coat. Sterling Group does not partner with families who celebrate cruelty and call it tradition. Bella explodes from her chair. Mascara now real tears carving black rivers down her cheeks. This is your fault. She whirls on me, finger shaking. You did this. You ruined everything. I'll destroy you. Caroline, I have 2 million followers. One post and your little landscaping business is. No, I say softly, and the single syllable stops her like a slap. You won't. I lift my phone again. Thumb hovering. Massachusetts is a 2-party consent state for audio recording. I know that, so tonight's dinner stays private. I'm not a monster. I let that settle. But the front door CCTV of you committing federal mail tampering? That's fair game. Title 18. U.S. Code. Section 1708. Up to 5 years. Bella. And I'm told Dior drops ambassadors the second an indictment trends on Twitter. Her knees buckle. She catches the edge of the table, knocking over a water goblet. It rolls, spills, soaks the linen like tears she no longer has the strength to fake. I walk around the table, heels clicking slow and deliberate. I stop in front of her and set the cream-colored gift box, the one with the Last Chance Love membership and the cruel book, directly beside Preston's abandoned ring. Keep it, I say, voice gentle. You're going to need it more than I do. The box looks obscene next to the glittering diamond, like innocence and cruelty posed for a photograph. Trinity makes a broken sound. Half sob, half plea. Caroline, wait. But I'm already moving. Past the table, past the ruined dinner, past the parents who taught me love is conditional and attention is currency. Harrison gives me a single nod as I pass. Respect. Maybe even admiration. Preston doesn't look at me. He's staring at the ring like it's radioactive. I pause in the doorway, hand on the frame, and glance back once. Bella is on her knees now. Literally on her knees, clawing at Preston's sleeve while he stares through her like she's glass. My mother is crying without sound, shoulders shaking. My father looks 70 years old. All the fight drained out of him. Bourbon and legacy pooling together on the floor. I feel nothing. Not triumph. Not pity. Just the clean, cold satisfaction of a structure finally, mercifully, collapsing under its own rot. The December air hits me like baptism when I step outside. My Uber idles at the foot of the grand staircase. Exhaust curling white in the floodlights. I slide into the warm backseat and pull the door shut with a soft, final thunk. Logan Airport, please. As we roll down the circular drive, I allow myself one last look at the house. Every window blazes gold, but it looks hollow now. A stage set after the actors have left. Snow keeps falling, already erasing my footprints. I dial Nate. Video call. His face fills the screen instantly, messy auburn hair, worried eyes, the soft glow of our kitchen behind him. Hey, wife, he says, voice rough with relief. Tell me it's over. It's over. My own voice surprises me. Steady, light, almost laughing. I left them the gift. And the ring. And $50 million worth of consequences. He exhales, Long and slow. Soup's on. Mom's making your favorite grilled cheese. Flight lands at 11:47. I'll be at arrivals with the world's ugliest homemade sign. I love you, I say, and it feels brand new. Like the first time I ever said it. Love you more, Mrs. Vance. Come home. Home. The word settles in my chest like warm stones. 3 days later I'm barefoot in our Austin kitchen. Sunlight pouring through the window over the sink. When the FedEx truck rumbles up again. The driver leaves a flat priority envelope on the mat. I already know what it is before I tear it open. Inside. A single check for $50,000. Made out to Caroline Vance. My father's careful architect's handwriting in the memo line. I'm sorry. Please stay silent. There's a typed letter on Montgomery Holdings letterhead, corporate. Impersonal. Desperate. I stand there in yoga pants and one of Nate's old Rice University t-shirts. Holding $50,000 of hush money. And I think about the girl who once would have cried over this check. The one who saved 2 chairs at her wedding. The one who still, 8 months later, checked her phone every hour for a text that never came. That girl is gone. I rip the check once. Twice. Again and again until it's confetti. I lay the pieces out on the granite island like a crime scene mosaic. Snap a photo. Open the family group chat that still has 4 members. I type. I don't sell my silence. I'm gifting it to you for free. This is my parting gift. Do not contact me again. I attach the photo of the shredded check. Send. Delivered. Read receipts pop up one after another. The typing bubble appears, disappears, appears again. I don't wait. I scroll to the top. Tap the 3 dots. Leave group. Are you sure you want to leave? I've never been more sure of anything in my life. Leave. New Year's Eve in Seattle smells like salt water, wet cedar, and Meredith Vance's legendary pot roast. Nate's entire family is crammed into the old Craftsman house on Queen Anne Hill. His sister yelling at the TV because the Seahawks are losing. His dad arguing with the oven timer. His nephew riding a plastic tricycle through the living room like it's the Indy 500. Grape juice casualties already on the carpet. Someone's playing Michael Bublé's Christmas album even though Christmas is technically over. And nobody cares. Meredith spots me the second I step through the door still carrying my suitcase. She doesn't say hello, she just pulls me into a hug so fierce the antique sapphire brooch on her coat lapel presses a perfect circle into my cheek. Real heirloom, real love, no conditions, no comparison charts. You're too skinny, she declares into my hair. Pot roast. Now. I laugh, wet and shaky, and let her steer me to the kitchen like I'm 16 again and just came home from a bad date. Nate finds me an hour later on the back porch. City lights glittering all the way to the sound. The Space Needle is already wearing its New Year's top hat of gold lights. Rain drizzles soft and steady. The kind Seattle does best. He slides the screen door shut behind him. Hands me a mug of spiked cocoa. And wraps a blanket around both of us. We fit together the way we always have, my back to his chest. His chin on my shoulder. The world suddenly the right size again. Any regrets? He asks quietly. I think about the empty chairs at our wedding. About the velvet boxes crushed in a recycling bin. About the 3-carat diamond abandoned in creme brulee. About $50,000 turned into confetti on my kitchen counter. Not one, I answer, and mean it down to the marrow. Fireworks start early, someone on a yacht in the bay is impatient. The first bloom is gold, then emerald, then a violent, perfect red that drips across the sky like spilled paint. Nate's arms tighten around my waist. Inside, his family starts the countdown even though it's only 11:47. They're drunk on champagne and each other and the kind of chaos that only happens when people actually like being related. 10. 9. 8. I turn in Nate's arms so we're face to face. Rain beads on his lashes. He's grinning like a kid who just got away with everything. Happy almost New Year, wife. Happy almost New Year, husband. 3. 2. 1. The sky detonates. Cheers explode from inside the house. Meredith is definitely crying. Someone's blowing an air horn they absolutely weren't supposed to bring indoors. Nate kisses me like it's the first time and the last time and every time in between. When we break apart, foreheads still touching, he whispers against my lips, "Welcome to the family that shows up, Caroline Vance." I laugh, and it doesn't hurt anymore. Later, when the fireworks have burned themselves out and the rain has turned to mist, I stand at the kitchen sink rinsing plates while Nate's sister teaches me the lyrics to some filthy rugby song their dad swears he's never heard before. My phone buzzes on the counter. Out of habit I glance at it. A new email notification. From richard.montgomery@montgomeryholdings.com. Subject: no subject. I stare at it for 3 full seconds. Then I swipe it away, turn the phone face down, and go back to the dishes. Some doors you don't reopen. Some buildings you let burn. January slides into February, and Austin greets me with bluebonnets pushing up through the cracks in the sidewalks like they've been waiting for me to come home and notice them. My business line rings off the hook. Turns out a lot of people saw the shredded check photo after a friend of a friend posted it anonymously on a private Facebook group for adult children of narcissists. The post went viral in exactly the circles that hire landscape architects who understand toxic root systems, both botanical and human. By March I've hired 2 new designers and turned my spare bedroom into an actual office instead of a graveyard for wedding invitations that never got answered. One Saturday morning Nate finds me in the backyard, knee-deep in dirt, transplanting a young live oak I rescued from a construction site. He leans against the fence, coffee in one hand, the other shading his eyes. "You know," he says, "for someone who just torched her entire family tree, you sure are obsessed with growing new ones." I wipe soil on my jeans and grin up at him. That's the difference. Trees don't care if you were the golden child or the scapegoat. They just want light, water, and the occasional honest conversation. He hops the fence, because of course he does, and kneels beside me, pressing a kiss to my temple that tastes like coffee and forever. "Speaking of honest conversations," he says, pulling a small velvet box from his pocket. "Not cream this time. Deep midnight blue. I believe in second ceremonies when the first one had empty chairs." Inside is a new ring, a thin band of rose gold woven with tiny emerald leaves. Simple. Mine. My hands are filthy. I don't care. I slide it on next to the platinum band that never came off. "Say yes again," he whispers. "Yes," I answer, 1,000 times yes. We get married again in April. At dusk. Under the very live oak I planted the day he proposed the second time. 50 people this time. No reserved signs. No empty seats. Meredith cries so hard she has to borrow tissues from 3 different cousins. Nate's nephew is the ring bearer and only drops the rings twice. My new employees form an archway with shovels instead of swords because that's who we are now. When the officiant says, "You may kiss the bride," Nate dips me dramatically and the entire crowd whoops like we're in a movie. I laugh into the kiss, tasting dirt and champagne and freedom. Later, when the fairy lights are twinkling and the band is playing our song, I catch sight of a notification on the iPad we're using for the photo booth. Someone tagged me in a post. Against my better judgment I tap it. It's a public apology from Bella. 3 paragraphs, carefully written by a crisis PR firm. I can smell the lawyers on it. She's stepping back from influencing to focus on personal growth. Her follower count has dropped by 1.4 million. Dior quietly removed her from their spring campaign. The comments are a bloodbath. I show Nate. He reads it, snorts, and closes the tablet. Let her have her scripted redemption arc, he says, spinning me into a dance. We're busy writing the real thing. Years will pass. The Montgomery estate will go on the market after my father's company quietly restructures to avoid bankruptcy. Bella will resurface with a wellness brand built on radical accountability, and sell jade eggs to people who don't know any better. My parents will send birthday cards to an old address that forwards to nowhere. None of it will reach me. Because I cleared the weeds. I burned out the rot. And in the rich, Dark earth I left behind. I planted something that finally, truly, belongs to me. I am Caroline Vance, architect of landscapes, builder of boundaries, keeper of my own light. And every spring, the oak tree in my backyard grows a little taller, its roots drinking deep from soil that no longer remembers poison.